The key didn't fit. I stood on my daughter's front porch, turning that little piece of brass over and over in my fingers. The same key I'd used 100 times. The same lock I'd opened when I brought over casseroles, when I picked up the grandkids, when I watered the plants while they vacationed. But that Saturday morning, it wouldn't turn. Hello. My name is Dorothy Callahan. I'm 71 years old. I live in a small house in Medford, Oregon. The kind of house with a garden out back and a porch swing that creaks when the wind blows. I've lived here for 31 years. Raised my daughter here. Buried my husband from here. I'm a retired librarian. 40 years at the county library. I liked the quiet, the order, the way every book had its place. I thought family worked the same way. It started with a phone call. Thursday evening. My daughter Rebecca's voice, already tight before she said hello. Mom, we need you Saturday. Nate's got a conference call and I have to cover someone at the clinic. Can you take the kids? Just until 4. I was sitting at my kitchen table. The calendar was open in front of me. Saturday had a red circle around it. My 6-week post-op appointment. The knee replacement. Honey, I can't Saturday. I've got my follow-up with Dr. Chen. You know, for the surgery. Silence. Then a sigh. Heavy. Disappointed. Can't you reschedule? It's been booked for weeks. And I need to know if the physical therapy is working. Mom. Her voice dropped. I'm asking for one favor. 1. The kids love seeing you. Tommy's been asking about you all week. My chest tightened. Tommy. 5 years old with his father's eyes and his grandmother's stubborn streak. I know, sweetheart. But this appointment, you know what? Forget it. I'll figure it out. I always do. The line went dead. I sat there, phone still pressed to my ear. The dial tone hummed. Outside, a bird was singing. Everything else felt very still. I should tell you something about myself. I am not a selfish person. I don't say that to boast. I say it because it's the truth. And it's important for what comes next. When Rebecca was born, I quit my full-time position. Went part-time so I could be there for school pickups, sick days, science fairs. When she got into college, I took out a second mortgage. When she married Nate, I paid for half the wedding. When they bought their house, I gave them the down payment. $43,000. Just this once, Mom, she'd said. We'll pay you back. They didn't, and I never asked. When the grandchildren came, I was there. Every weekend, every school break. I changed diapers, made lunches, read bedtime stories until my voice went hoarse. I loved it. I loved them. Grace, now 12, with her serious eyes and her books. Tommy, wild and sweet. But I was tired. My knee ached. My back ached. Some mornings, getting out of bed took 3 tries. Still, I never said no. Until that Thursday. Friday morning, I called Rebecca. Wanted to smooth things over. The phone rang and rang. No answer. I tried again at noon. Nothing. I sent a text. Hope you found someone for tomorrow. Love you. No reply. By evening, I felt that familiar knot in my stomach. The one I'd carried for years. The feeling that I'd done something wrong. Even when I hadn't. I went to bed early. Didn't sleep well. Saturday morning, I went to my appointment. Dr. Chen was pleased. The knee was healing. The physical therapy was working. I should keep it up. You're doing great, Dorothy, he said. Just don't overdo it. I drove home. Made myself some tea. Sat on the porch. The phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. I opened it. Don't bother coming over anymore. I changed the locks. You made it clear where your priorities are. We don't need someone who can't support their own family. I read it twice. 3 times. The words didn't make sense. They were English, but they felt like a foreign language. Changed the locks? I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called Nate. Same thing. I sat there for maybe 20 minutes. Maybe an hour. I don't remember. Then I got in my car. The drive to their house takes 12 minutes. I know every turn, every stoplight. I've made that drive hundreds of times. Groceries in the back seat. Birthday presents. Holiday decorations. That day, the car felt different. Smaller. The steering wheel slippery under my palms. I parked on the street. Their minivan was in the driveway. The curtains were drawn. I walked up the path. The garden gnome Grace had picked out last summer sat by the steps. Cheerful. Oblivious. I reached the door. Took out my key. It didn't fit. I tried again. Pushed harder. Wiggled it. Nothing. The lock had been changed. I stood there, 71 years old, standing on my daughter's porch. Locked out. Inside, I heard footsteps. Someone was home. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Louder. Rebecca? It's Mom. Please. Can we talk? Silence. Then, from upstairs, a window opened. Just a crack. Grandma? Grace's voice. Small. Confused. Hi, sweetheart. Is your mom there? She said. She said you're not supposed to come over. I just want to talk to her. Can you tell her I'm here? A pause. Then the window closed. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. No one came. I drove home. I don't remember the drive. Just suddenly being in my driveway. Engine still running. Hands still on the wheel. I turned off the car. Went inside. Sat at the kitchen table. The house was quiet. The clock ticked. The refrigerator hummed. I thought about the down payment. The tuition. The wedding. The babysitting. The groceries. The gas money. The birthday checks. The Christmas gifts. The emergency loans. I thought about the nights I'd stayed up with colicky babies so Rebecca could sleep. The weekends I'd canceled plans. The vacations I'd skipped. I thought about all the times I'd said yes when I wanted to say no. And I thought about this one time. This one single time. I'd said I couldn't help. Because of surgery. Because of my own health. And for that, I was locked out. The phone rang. I looked at the screen. Nate. I answered. Dorothy. His voice was calm. Reasonable. The voice he used in business meetings. I think we need to talk about what happened. Yes. I think we do. Rebecca is very hurt. She feels like you're not there for the family when it matters. I had a doctor's appointment. For my knee surgery. Right. But you have to understand. She's under a lot of pressure. Work. The kids. And when she reaches out for help and you say no. I've never said no before. Not once in 12 years. That's not really the point, is it? The point is that family supports each other. Unconditionally. I was quiet. Dorothy? Are you there? I'm here. Look. I think if you apologized. Showed that you understand. We could move past this. Apologize. For needing to see my doctor. I'll think about it, I said. Good. That's good. I'll tell Rebecca. He hung up. I sat there until the sun went down. The house grew dark around me. I didn't turn on the lights. Something was shifting inside me. Something I couldn't name yet. Like a door opening, or closing. I thought about my mother. How she'd given everything to her children. How she'd died with nothing. Not even her own opinions. I thought about Rebecca. How she looked at me. What she expected. I thought about Grace. Her serious eyes. Watching everything. And I thought, what am I teaching her? That love means giving until you're empty? That mothers exist only to serve? That, no, as a crime? I got up. Walked to the spare room. My home office. In the closet, there's a filing cabinet. Gray. Old. The kind they don't make anymore. I opened the bottom drawer. Inside, folders. Yellow. Labeled in my careful librarian's handwriting. Rebecca, college. Rebecca, wedding. Rebecca, house. Rebecca, miscellaneous. I pulled them out. Stacked them on the desk. I wasn't sure what I was looking for. Maybe proof. Maybe answers. Maybe permission. I opened the first folder. And I began to count. I counted until 3 in the morning. The kitchen table disappeared under paper. Bank statements. Receipts. Credit card records. Wire transfer confirmations. Check stubs with my handwriting. For Rebecca. With love. 23 years of love. All there in black ink. Let me tell you what I found. The down payment for their house. $43,000. That was 2011. Rebecca's graduate school. Tuition, books, fees. $61,000 over 3 years. That was before she met Nate. The wedding. My half came to $28,000. Flowers alone were $4,000. She wanted peonies. Out of season. Grace's birth. Hospital bills insurance didn't cover. $12,000. New roof after the storm. $9,000. We'll pay you back next year, Mom. Tommy's birth. Another $8,000. Their minivan. The down payment. $6,000. The kitchen renovation. Just a loan, Mom. We're good for it. $15,000. Groceries. Gas. Utilities when they fell behind. Birthday money. Christmas money. Emergency money. I added it all up. Then I added it again. $214,000. I sat back in my chair. The number stared at me. I'd never seen it all together before. Never wanted to. Each expense had felt small. Manageable. An act of love. A mother's duty. But there it was. $214,000. My retirement savings. My security. My peace of mind. Given freely. Gratefully received. Never returned. And for one single boundary. I was cut off. Sunday morning, I tried again. I called Rebecca. Left a voicemail. Honey, it's Mom. I've been thinking. Maybe we can sit down and talk. I love you. I love the kids. Let's work this out. No response. I texted Nate. I'd like to talk. Can we meet for coffee? Just to clear the air. He replied 3 hours later. Not a good time. Rebecca needs space. Space. From the woman who'd given them everything. Monday came. I went to the library. Not to work. Just to be somewhere familiar. Somewhere that made sense. The new librarian, a young woman named Sophie, smiled when she saw me. Mrs. Callahan, how's the knee? Better. Thank you. We miss you around here. I smiled. Didn't say much. I wandered the stacks. Ran my fingers along the spines. Fiction. History. Self-help. Family relationships. I stopped at that last section. Pulled out a book. When Parents Give Too Much. I almost laughed. That afternoon, my phone rang. Rebecca. My heart jumped. Maybe she'd calmed down. Maybe we could talk. Hello? So I hear you've been calling Nate. Her voice. Cold. Flat. I just wanted to talk. To understand. Understand what? That you abandoned us when we needed you? Rebecca, I had surgery. I needed. You needed. It's always about what you need now, isn't it? I gripped the phone tighter. That's not fair. I've given you everything. For years. Decades. Oh, here we go. The guilt trip. I sacrificed so much. Well, guess what, Mom? That was your choice. Nobody forced you. I never said, you know what your problem is? You keep score. You give, but you always expect something back. That's not love. That's manipulation. The words hit like a slap. I've never asked for anything back. Not once. Right. You just hold it over our heads. Remember when I paid for your wedding? Remember when I gave you money for the house? It's exhausting. I've never said those things to you. You don't have to say them. We feel it. I was quiet. My hands were shaking. Rebecca, I love you. I love the grandchildren. Can't we? If you loved us, you'd be there for us. Unconditionally. Without excuses. I am there. I've always been there. Except when it matters. One time. One appointment. One time too many. Silence. Then she said something that broke me. You know, Mom, I used to think you were selfless. But now I see it. You're just like everyone else. Selfish. Only thinking about yourself. I don't know if I can trust you anymore. The line went dead. I stood in my kitchen. Phone still in my hand. Selfish. Me. The word echoed. I thought about all those years. All those yeses. All those times I'd put my needs aside. Selfish. Was that what I was? That night, I called my old friend Lorraine. We'd worked together at the library. She retired the year before me. Still lived here in Medford. Just a few blocks away. Dorothy. What a nice surprise. Lorraine. I need to talk. I told her everything. The phone call. The locked door. The text. The money. She listened. Didn't interrupt. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Dorothy, you know what you have to do. What? Protect yourself. She's my daughter. And you're a person. With rights. With worth. With value beyond what you can give. I didn't say anything. You've spent your whole life being the good mother. The supportive mother. The giving mother. And where has it gotten you? Locked out of their house. Called selfish for one doctor's appointment. Maybe I should have rescheduled. Don't you dare. Don't you dare take this on yourself. Her voice was firm. You had surgery, Dorothy. You needed medical care. That's not optional. That's not selfish. That's basic human dignity. I felt tears coming. What do? You call a lawyer. You protect your assets. You rewrite your will. You stop the money flow until you figure out what kind of relationship, if any, is left. That feels so harsh. No. What's harsh is being discarded the first time you say no. What's harsh is 20 years of support being forgotten over one weekend. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about what Lorraine said. Protect yourself. But how do you protect yourself from your own child? How do you draw a line between love and self-destruction? How do you say, enough, to someone you brought into this world? Tuesday morning, I pulled out my address book. Old-fashioned, I know. But I like things I can hold. I found the number for Alan Mitchell. A state lawyer. I'd met him years ago when Harold died. He'd handled the will. I dialed. Mitchell and Associates. Hello. I'd like to make an appointment with Mr. Mitchell. My name is Dorothy Callahan. What's this regarding, Mrs. Callahan? I took a breath. I need to update my will. And I have questions about financial protection. I can schedule you for Thursday at 2. Does that work? Yes, that works. I hung up. My hands were still shaking. But something else was there too. Something small, quiet. It felt like the beginning of a decision. That night, I sat on my porch. The sun was setting, orange and pink. Beautiful. I thought about Grace, her serious face, her love of books. I thought about Tommy, his laugh. I thought about Rebecca, the baby I'd held, the woman who'd locked me out. And I thought about myself. 71 years old, retired librarian, mother, grandmother, invisible banker, doormat. No, not anymore. I made myself a promise. I would go to that appointment. I would ask hard questions. I would make hard choices. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of something I'd neglected for too long. Self-respect. Thursday felt very far away. And very close. Thursday came. I dressed carefully. Navy slacks. White blouse. The pearl earrings Harold gave me for our 30th anniversary. I wanted to look like someone who deserved to be taken seriously. Alan Mitchell's office was on the 3rd floor of a brick building downtown. Old building. Solid. The kind they built when things were meant to last. His secretary showed me in. Alan stood up. Gray hair. Kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He shook my hand. Dorothy. Good to see you again. It's been, what, 8 years? 9. Since Harold passed. Right. Please, sit down. I sat. The leather chair was soft. The office smelled like books and coffee. So, he said, settling into his chair. What can I help you with? I took a breath. I need to change my will. And I have questions about power of attorney. All right. Walk me through it. So I did. I told him about Rebecca. About the money. About the locked door. I didn't cry. I was proud of that. He listened. Took notes. His face stayed neutral. Professional. When I finished, he set down his pen. Dorothy, let me make sure I understand. Your daughter currently has power of attorney over your affairs? Yes. We set that up after Harold died. In case something happened to me. And she's been receiving regular transfers from your account? Not monthly, but regular. Whenever she needed help. How regular? I thought about it. Maybe every few months. Sometimes more. And this has been going on for how long? Since they bought the house. So 14 years. He nodded slowly. And now you want to revoke the POA and stop the transfers? Yes. May I ask why now? I looked at my hands. Because I said no once. And she locked me out. Alan was quiet for a moment. Then he leaned forward. Dorothy, I'm going to give you some advice. Not just as a lawyer. As someone who's seen this before. Okay, what you're describing is financial abuse. I flinched. That's a strong word. It's an accurate word. When family members feel entitled to your money. When they cut you off for setting one boundary. When they've taken over $200,000 and never paid it back. That's not family support. That's exploitation. I didn't say anything. You have every right to protect yourself. Legally, financially, emotionally. And you should. We spent the next hour going through documents. He drafted a new will. Everything would go into a trust. The beneficiary would be my niece, Claire. She lived up the coast, in Bandon. Good woman. Kind. Never asked for anything. Rebecca would receive nothing unless I changed my mind later. Are you sure about this? He asked. No, I said honestly. But I'm sure I need to do it. He also prepared paperwork to revoke Rebecca's power of attorney. She would no longer have any legal authority over my affairs. One more thing, he said. Your bank accounts. Any joint access? Any automatic transfers set up? I have a monthly transfer to Rebecca's account. $500. For the grandchildren. I'd recommend stopping that. At least until things are resolved. I nodded. I'll go to the bank tomorrow. I drove home in a daze. The papers sat in a folder on the passenger seat. Legal. Official. Final. I'd done it. I'd actually done it. Friday morning, I went to the credit union. The branch manager was a woman named Patricia. We'd known each other for years. She'd helped me set up Harold's Memorial Fund. Dorothy, come on back. I sat in her office. Showed her the paperwork. I need to stop the automatic transfer to my daughter's account. She looked at me, concern in her eyes. Everything okay? It will be. She typed on her computer. Done. Anything else? Yes. I'd like to set up a trust account. For my niece. We went through the details. Claire would receive everything. Gradually. Safely. Protected. Smart choice, Patricia said. Family money gets complicated. You have no idea, I thought. I walked out of the bank into the sunshine. Something felt different. Lighter. Like I'd set down a weight I didn't know I was carrying. The calls started that night. Rebecca first. Mom, what did you do? Her voice was sharp. Panicked. What do you mean? The transfer. It didn't come through. And Nate said you were seen at a lawyer's office. Small town. Everyone talks. I made some changes. To my accounts. What kind of changes? That's my business, Rebecca. Silence. Then. You're punishing us. That's what this is. Because you're angry about one weekend. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm protecting myself. From what? Your own family? From being taken for granted. This is unbelievable. After everything we've done for you. I almost laughed. Everything you've done for me? Yes. We let you be part of the kids' lives. We include you in holidays. We call you. Do you know how many people our age don't even talk to their parents? I was quiet. And this is how you repay us? By cutting us off? I'm not cutting you off. I'm setting boundaries. Same thing. No, Rebecca. It's not. She hung up. I sat there, heart pounding. Then Nate called. Dorothy, I think you're making a mistake. Hello, Nate. This money thing. It's going to cause real problems. For whom? For everyone. Look, I get that you're upset. But making legal changes? Rewriting your will? That's extreme. 20 years of financial support with no gratitude is extreme. We've always been grateful. You've always been expectant. There's a difference. Pause. Dorothy, you need to think about this carefully. If you go through with this, it could damage your relationship with the kids. Grace and Tommy. Is that what you want? My stomach tightened. Are you threatening me? I'm being realistic. Actions have consequences. Yes, they do. I hung up before he could say more. My hands were shaking. I made tea. Peppermint. Calming. It didn't help. The next morning, I called Lorraine again. Come over, she said. I'll make lunch. Her kitchen was warm. Yellow walls. Herbs on the windowsill. I told her about the lawyer. The bank. The phone calls. She listened. Nodded. When I finished, she poured more tea. You did the right thing. Did I? Yes. Then why'd I feel like a monster? She set down her cup. Because you've spent your whole life measuring your worth by how much you give. When you stop giving, you feel empty. Useless. Like you've failed. I stared at her. But Dorothy, listen to me. Love is not a debit card. You don't keep swiping until you're bankrupt and then blame yourself when the account is empty. But she's my daughter. And you're her mother. Not her ATM. I drove home slowly. Lorraine's words echoed. Love is not a debit card. That night, I sat in my living room. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I thought about Grace. Her birthday was next month. She'd be 13. I thought about Tommy. His laugh. I thought about Rebecca. The baby I'd rocked. The toddler I'd chased. The teenager I'd comforted. And I thought about the woman who'd locked me out. Were they the same person? My phone buzzed. A text. Not from Rebecca. From Grace. Grandma, are you okay? Mom says you're not coming to visit anymore. My heart cracked. I typed back carefully. I'm okay, sweetheart. I love you very much. Always. She replied quickly. I love you too. I miss you. I miss you too. I set down the phone. Tears came. Not for Rebecca. For Grace. For Tommy. For the relationship I might lose. For the person I might become if I didn't change. I sat there for a long time. Thinking, what kind of grandmother did I want to be? One who taught Grace that women should give until they disappear. Or one who showed her that boundaries are healthy. That self-respect matters? That saying no is not a crime? The decision wasn't easy, but it was clear. I would protect myself. And somehow, I would find a way to stay in my grandchildren's lives. Without losing myself in the process. The doorbell rang at 7 in the morning. I was in my robe. Coffee in hand. Still half asleep. I opened the door. Rebecca. Standing on my porch. Her face was tight. Eyes red-rimmed. Hair unwashed. We need to talk, she said. Not a question. A demand. I stepped aside. She walked past me. Into my living room. The living room where she'd grown up. She didn't sit. You changed your will. It wasn't a question. Yes. You gave everything to Claire. Yes. Claire. Your niece. Not your daughter. That's right. She stared at me. Why? I set down my coffee. Because I needed to. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She started pacing. Back and forth. Across the carpet Harold and I had picked out together. Do you have any idea what you've done? I've protected myself. You've betrayed your family. Which family? The one that locked me out? She stopped. That was one time. One mistake. And you're using it to justify what? Disowning me? I haven't disowned you. You gave my inheritance to Claire. It was never your inheritance, Rebecca. It's my money. Mine. Her face contorted. After everything I've sacrificed? I almost laughed. Almost. What have you sacrificed? I asked quietly. What? Tell me. What have you sacrificed for me? She sputtered. I've included you in our lives. I've let you see the kids. I've called you. I've let me? Let me see my own grandchildren? Yes. That's not a sacrifice, Rebecca. That's basic decency. It's more than a lot of parents get. I was quiet. She was right about that. Many grandparents were cut off entirely. But was that the bar now? Be grateful I'm not completely abandoned? Sit down, I said. I don't want to sit. Please. Something in my voice made her pause. She sat. on the edge of the couch, ready to bolt. I sat across from her. I'm going to tell you something. And I need you to listen. I'm listening. No, really listen. She crossed her arms. I took a breath. I've given you $214,000 over the past 23 years. Her eyes widened. What? I counted. Bank statements, receipts, transfers, everything. That's not possible. Down payment, $43,000. Tuition, $61,000. Wedding, $28,000. Medical bills, hospital stays, the roof, the van, the kitchen, groceries, gas, emergency loans, all of it. She was quiet. $214,000. I have the records. I didn't realize. No, you didn't. She looked at her hands. We were going to pay you back. When? When we got on our feet. You've been saying that for 14 years. Silence. I never asked for it back, I continued. Not once. I gave freely, gladly, because I love you. Because I wanted to help. Then why stop now? Because I said no once. Once. And you changed the locks. Her jaw tightened. That was Nate's idea. You went along with it. I was hurt. You were inconvenienced. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Rebecca. We sat in silence. The clock ticked. Outside, a car drove past. Normal sounds. Normal world. Inside, everything was fracturing. I'm not trying to punish you, I said finally. Could have fooled me. I'm trying to survive. She looked up. What do you mean? I'm 71 years old. I have limited savings, limited time, and I've spent decades pouring everything into you. Money, time, energy, love. And I appreciate. Do you? Because when I needed one doctor's appointment, you cut me off. She was quiet. That's not love, Rebecca. That's transaction. I give, you take. I stop giving, you stop caring. That's not true, isn't it? She stood up abruptly. You know what your problem is, Mom? Here it comes, I thought. You're a martyr. You give and then you hold it over everyone's heads. Look how much I sacrificed. Look how ungrateful you are. It's exhausting. I've never said. You don't have to say it. We feel it. Every time we ask for help, there's this weight. This expectation. What expectation? That we owe you. That we're in your debt. Forever. I was quiet. Well, guess what? I'm tired of feeling guilty. I'm tired of being the bad daughter because I can't give back what you gave. I'm tired of this whole dynamic. I looked at her, my daughter, so angry, so defensive, and suddenly, I saw it clearly. She wasn't grateful. She was resentful. Every dollar I'd given had become a chain around her neck. A reminder that she couldn't stand on her own. And instead of gratitude, she felt shame. And shame had turned to anger. At me. Rebecca, I said quietly. What? I don't want you to feel guilty. Then give me back the inheritance. That's not what I mean. She waited. I gave you that money because I wanted to. Not because I expected anything back. But somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing it as help. You started seeing it as your right. That's not. Let me finish. When help becomes expectation, it stops being help. It becomes dependency. And that's not good for either of us. She was quiet. I don't want you dependent on me. I want you strong, self-sufficient, proud of what you've built. We have built something. With my money. Silence. She sat back down. Slower this time. So what? You're just going to cut us off? I'm going to let you stand on your own. We can't afford. You'll figure it out. You're smart. Capable. You don't need me. But the kids will be fine. Children adapt. Easy for you to say. No, it's not easy. None of this is easy. She looked at me. Really looked. Do you hate me? The question caught me off guard. No, I love you. I'll always love you. Then why does this feel like punishment? Because boundaries feel like rejection to people who've never had them. She flinched. We sat there. Minutes passed. Finally, she spoke. Claire called me last night. Oh? She said you're planning to visit her. In Bandon. I'm thinking about it. Are you moving there? I don't know yet. So you're just leaving? Running away? I'm not running. I'm choosing. Choosing what? Myself. For once. She stood up again. This is unbelievable. You're abandoning your family for what? Peace? Freedom? Yes. That's selfish. Maybe. Mom. Rebecca, I've given you everything. My money. My time. My energy. My retirement. My peace of mind. And when I asked for one thing back, one boundary, you locked me out. She was quiet. I'm not abandoning you. I'm removing myself from a relationship that only values me for what I provide. That's not true. Prove it. She stared at me. What? Prove it. Show me that you love me for more than my money. How? I don't know. That's for you to figure out. She stood there, lost. I need to go, she said finally. Okay. She walked to the door. Stopped. Turned. You're making a mistake, Mom. You're going to regret this. Maybe. But I'll regret it less than I'd regret staying. She left without another word. The door closed. I stood in my living room. Alone. Quiet. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking. But underneath all that? Something else. Relief. I'd said it. Finally. All of it. I walked to the phone. Dialed Claire's number. She answered on the second ring. Aunt Dorothy? Hi, sweetheart. Is that offer still open? What offer? To visit. You said I could come anytime. Pause. Of course. Always. When? How about next week? Perfect. I'll make up the guest room. Thank you, Claire. For what? For not expecting anything. She was quiet. See you soon, Aunt Dorothy. I hung up. Started packing. Not running away. Walking toward. The ocean sounds different in Bandon. Not better. Not worse. Just different. I spent 3 weeks at Claire's cottage near the coast. Small place. White walls. Windows that faced the water. Every morning, I woke to the sound of waves. Every evening, I watched the sun sink into the Pacific. And slowly, something inside me began to unknot. Claire didn't ask questions. She made coffee, cooked simple meals, took me to the farmer's market on Saturdays. We talked about books, about her garden, about the weather. We didn't talk about Rebecca. Not unless I brought it up. Which I didn't. Not for the first week. The second week, I started helping at the local library. Just volunteer work. Shelving books. Helping with the children's reading hour. The head librarian was a young woman named Maria. Bright smile. Nose ring. Tattoo of a book on her wrist. You're a natural, she said one afternoon. 40 years of practice. Well, we're glad to have you. Such a small thing. Being useful. Being wanted for something other than money. I'd forgotten how good it felt. The third week, I took long walks on the beach. Alone. Early morning. Just me and the gulls. I thought about my life. All 71 years of it. The things I'd done right. The things I'd done wrong. The things I'd never done at all. I thought about Harold, how he'd always said I gave too much. Dorothy, he'd say, you can't pour from an empty cup. I'd never listened. Maybe I should have. One evening, Claire and I sat on her porch. Tea in hand, blankets on our laps. Aunt Dorothy, she said quietly. Yes? Thank you for trusting me. I looked at her. With what? With yourself. With your inheritance. With all of this. I was quiet. I know it wasn't easy. Choosing me over Rebecca. I don't take that lightly. It wasn't a choice between you. What was it then? I thought about it. A choice between the person I was and the person I want to be. She nodded slowly. I understand. I went home after 3 weeks. Not because I had to. Because I was ready. The house felt different when I returned. Quieter. Smaller. But mine. I cleaned. Organized. Threw away old things. Started fresh. Days passed. Rebecca didn't call. I didn't call her either. It hurt. But less than before. Grace texted sometimes. Little things. Got an A on my book report. Tommy lost his first tooth. Miss you, Grandma. I always replied. So proud of you. Tell him the tooth fairy is generous. Miss you too, sweetheart. Always. One Saturday afternoon, a knock at my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened it. Grace. Standing on my porch. Backpack over her shoulder. Hair in a ponytail. 13 years old now. So grown up. Hi, Grandma. Grace. What are you doing here? Mom said I could spend the weekend. If you want. My heart swelled. Of course I want. Come in. She walked inside. Looked around. Everything looks the same. Some things don't change. She smiled. We made hot chocolate. The way we always had. Extra marshmallows. We sat at the kitchen table. Grandma? Yes? Are you okay? I looked at her. Those serious eyes. So much older than her years. I'm getting there. Good. She sipped her chocolate. Mom's different now. How so? Quieter. She doesn't talk about money as much. She and Dad are figuring things out. That's good. Is it? Independence is always good. She nodded. We spent the weekend doing nothing special. Reading books. Taking walks. Baking cookies. No screens. No schedules. No expectations. Just us. Sunday evening, before she left, she hugged me. Tight. Long. I love you, Grandma. I love you too, sweetheart. Will you come to my birthday? I hesitated. I don't know if your mom. I'm inviting you. Me. It's my birthday. I smiled. Then I'll be there. She left. I stood at the window. Watched her dad's car drive away. And I realized something. I could love my granddaughter without losing myself. I could be present without being consumed. I could give without being emptied. Boundaries weren't walls. They were doors. I got to choose who walked through. The weeks that followed were quiet. I went back to my routines. Library volunteering. Morning walks. Afternoon tea. But something was different. Me. I was lighter. Clearer. More myself than I'd been in years. I started writing in a journal. Not much. Just thoughts. Observations. Things I'd learned. That love without boundaries is not love. It's sacrifice. That saying no is not selfish. It's survival. That being a good mother doesn't mean disappearing. That it's never too late to choose yourself. Sometimes I still thought about Rebecca. The baby I'd held. The girl I'd raised. I loved her still. Probably always would. But I couldn't save her from herself. I couldn't buy her respect. I couldn't earn her love through money. That was her journey now. And this was mine. Spring came. The garden bloomed. I planted new roses. Red ones. Bold. Like the woman I was becoming. One morning, I found an envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside, a card. Rebecca's handwriting. Mom, I'm sorry. For everything. I'm working on myself. I hope someday we can talk. R. Short. Simple. Not enough. But maybe a beginning. I didn't reply right away. I needed time. Time to trust that the change was real. Time to protect the peace I'd built. Time to honor the woman I'd fought to become. But I kept the card. On my nightstand. A reminder that hope exists. Even in broken places. Here's what I know now. At 71, I learned something most people never do. You can love someone and let them go. You can give without losing yourself. You can say no and still be good. You can choose yourself and still be a mother. If you're listening to this, maybe you're like me. Maybe you've given too much. Maybe you've forgotten your worth. Maybe you're tired of being needed but never seen. I want you to know something. It's not too late. It's never too late to choose yourself. To set boundaries. To reclaim your life. Even at 70. Even after decades of giving. Even when it hurts. You deserve to be loved for who you are. Not what you provide. You deserve respect. Not transactions. You deserve peace. Not obligation. I'm still learning. Still growing. Still becoming. And that's okay. The ocean still sounds different in Bandon. But home sounds different too. Quieter. Clearer. Mine. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. If this resonated with you, if you know someone who needs to hear it, please share. And if you'd like to hear more stories like this, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button. Turn on notifications. Your support means more than you know. Until next time, take care of yourself. You deserve it.